Hey, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts Weinstein, and today we're going to talk about how to close a DBA in California. Now, a DBA is a doing business name registration, which is where you are conducting business in a name that's not your legal name. So for sole proprietorship, it's where you have some kind of branding name for your business that is different than your personal legal name. For partnership, it's as if it's different than the names of the partners. And in some states, it's just the last name of the partner. Same thing with the sole proprietorship. And in some states, it has to be the full name. Depends on the state law. California, it's just the last name. And then for an LLC or corporation, they can also have a DBA, which is when they have a brand name that's different than the LLC or corporation name. And that means including the LLC or corporation, like LLC at the end, Inc. or Corp at the end of corporation. Now, in California, it's not called DBA, it's actually called FBN, which is Fictitious Business Name Registration, but it's exactly the same thing. Different states call it different things. Some states even call it a trade name registration. So in California, when you decide to go into business using a name that is different than the legal name of your business, then you file this DBA or FBN, Fictitious Business Name Registration, with your county, and then you have to publish it and then file proof of publishing. But let's say it's 3 years later and you don't want to use this anymore. And there could be a couple different reasons. One is if you're selling the business to somebody else, it's going to be a new owner for the business. Assuming you're not selling the actual legal entity itself, then it would all get transferred over. But if you're selling a sole proprietorship business, or if you're selling a partnership, or the assets of an LLC or corporation business such that the LLC or corporation itself is not getting sold, then you'll need to not have that DBA anymore because they're going to probably have it. Sometimes it's just because you're no longer using that name. Sometimes it's because there's multiple business partners and one of the business partners is pulling out and they don't want to have their name on record associated with this DBA anymore. Sometimes it's because you've transferred to a different legal entity. So you started as a sole proprietorship with a DBA and now you're going to have an LLC. And then, of course, there's the reason of you're just shutting down this entire business. You're no longer going to run this business at all. Now, you might say, well, do I even need to shut down this DBA? The thing is, DBAs do expire in California automatically at the end of 5 years if you don't renew them. Then you have abandoned them. But I would suggest that if you're shutting a business down, if you're selling the business to somebody else where you're not selling the actual legal entity, you're selling the assets of the business, or it's sole proprietorship or partnership. If you're a partner pulling out, you don't want your legal name or the legal name of your business to be associated with that DBA anymore. Because what if someone does something bad with it, that DBA, like some random person, and you don't want to accidentally get caught up in some kind of liability issue. You kind of want to close the loop there. Unless it's going to expire in like a month or something, and you could just let it expire in a month, you want to actually do a formal process to abandon that DBA. So it's not called terminating or shutting down or closing. You are abandoning it, which sounds kind of dramatic, but that's just what it's called. So let's go ahead and look at one of the counties in California, which is the county of Santa Clara, where that's like the Silicon Valley where San Jose is, how they talk about abandoning or closing down a DBA or a fictitious business name registration. So if you look at this, it's mostly talking about registering the FBN, but over on the side, it has a couple things that you also can do. One is a statement of abandonment, and one is the statement of withdrawal. And you may wonder which one of these you're supposed to do. So let's start with the bottom one, the statement of withdrawal. A statement of withdrawal is a special one just for a person who is withdrawing from a partnership. So let's say 3 people are partners in a business and they didn't form an LLC or corporation or anything like that. They're just old school general partners. And one of them is leaving, they quitting the business, whatever, I don't know. Or they just have a dispute and they want out for that reason. They can, with just their own signature, they can file to withdraw from the DBA just themselves. And you'd want to do that if you're no longer going to be in the business. So they file paperwork, and then they also have to pay the filing fees and publish. Everything, you have to pay the filing fees and publish, okay? Statement of abandonment, what this is you're filing this, that you're officially abandoning, and it puts the public on record. You have to pay the fees, and you have to publish, okay? So this is something that's important to understand, is that publishing is one of those things that is very old school idea, because you have to have it published in a legal newspaper. Nobody reads the legal newspaper except for people who are looking for addresses and spam mail to. But the thing is, This is putting the public on notice that you're using the DBA when you first start, or that you're abandoning it when you abandon. It's constructive notice, which means that people are presumed to have that notice even if they didn't have actual notice. And so someone can't later say, oh, I didn't know that you no longer were using this. And so that's why I think you should be liable for something under that name, because you put the world on notice. So how do you actually do this? Well, really, there's two kind of overall ways. One is you directly go to your county and file this. You can file it sometimes online in certain counties, not here in Santa Clara County right now, but there are counties where you can at least start the filing online. You can file it in person, but you have to, like I said, you might experience wait times. Sometimes, like some places like Santa Clara County currently let you make an appointment. So that might be a faster way to do it. And then you can file it by mail. Now, if you file it by mail in your LLC or corporation, you're going to have other documents in there to prove up who you are. And so let's look ahead and look at the statement of abandonment to look at what has to be included. So you're going to have the name, the fictitious business name, the address and all that, when it was filed, and then the file number. So you can look that up yourself. You can use the self-service search system, and a lot of the big counties have some kind of system to look it up yourself. Otherwise, you would go down there and do it in person. Then the full name of the registrant. The registrant is the owner, the legal owner of the DBA. So if you have a sole proprietorship or a partnership, it's those individual people. If it's an LLC or corporation, it's not the owner of the LLC or corporation. It is the LLC or corporation itself. That's a registrant. And then is a business conducted by, individual, joint venture, whatever it was. Generally speaking, though, since you have to then publish it and then you have to go through this whole rigmarole of publishing it in legal newspaper and all that, I actually recommend using DBA Store in California. I know this website looks like it was made 20 years ago. It might have been made 20 years ago, but I found they do a great job and are very efficient and really are very reasonably priced and much better than any of the other online services that I've seen. And they do a great job. Now, if you go to the website, you don't see anything about abandonment. Like there's none of the links say that. But if you click on, file a DBA, you put in the name of your county. We're going to here put Santa Clara County. Then you can see it says, it doesn't give you a choice of abandonment here. It says first filing, renew, refile with changes. So if you actually just change like your address or something, this is how you would do it. For abandonment and withdraw, contact them, their 1-800 number. I've found that they've been very easy to deal with on things. The great thing about using them is that they handle it all for you, not just the filing, and they'll file it in person and it gets all done. They'll handle the filing for you. They'll create the document, have you sign it, give it to them, then they go ahead and file it. And then they will actually handle the publishing and anything else that needs to be filed after publishing. It just makes it so much easier. Trying to find legal newspapers and put the ads in legal newspapers is a giant headache. Okay, so they'll go ahead and do it. So if we do a price quote, okay, so for Los Angeles County, let's say you want to do an abandonment and you want them to file and publish. What is the quote going to be? $55 for publishing, $26 for the court filing. There you go. It's very, very reasonably priced. I found it to be much cheaper than any of the online services. It looks like in Santa Clara County, for abandonment, it's not listed on here. So you'd have to contact them in your particular county to make sure that they do that there. And let's just take some random counties. It seems like in each county, they have different things that you can get a direct quote on, probably because certain things can be filed online, certain things that need different paperwork, etc. But if you contact them, they have a 1-800 number with the extension up there. You should be able to get a response about to get a quote for what you want done. Again, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein. If you found this video helpful, hit the thumbs up button. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or you would like me to point you in the right direction about. You can subscribe for more videos like this. And then if you'd like to connect further, ask any more questions, connect with other people like you can join the Discord or the Patreon. Links are below. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.